Does anyone else love Panda Express? I work really close to one. I'm pretty sure they built it for the people at my job specifically. Anyway, it's by far one of my favorite places to eat. And most days after work I find myself paying them a visit, as well as paying them my hard-earned cash for some of that delicious original orange chicken. They have a fairly large Oriental menu, and I've tried pretty much all of their items. And at the end of each meal, I'll snap into one of their fortune cookies and see what message the universe has for me on that day. So yesterday really was no different. I got off work at the Amazon warehouse and headed directly across the street. My mouth watering. I sat down at my favorite booth. The one that gives you a view of the woods and some small buildings that just look astonishing, under a sunset backdrop. This night I ordered the Beijing beef with fried rice and a large Diet Coke. I slurped it all down and felt that satisfying feeling you get after you fill your tummy with something yummy. As per routine, once I finished the meal, I cracked into the cookie and pulled out the little slip of paper tucked within its crevices. The overhead speakers that usually played pop hits to give people that ambient noise while eating fell silent. But the room remained active with chitter-chatter as I read the advice from the paper. They're watching you. I stared at the paper, blankly, quite confused. The gods? My ancestors? Spiritual deities? What kind of fortune is? They're watching you. In the midst of my confusion, I had gotten lost in thought and sheer contemplation of what I was seeing. So lost, in fact, that when I was brought back, it was by the shadows from the outdoors, cascading larger until the bright, cheery atmosphere was no more. Snapping my head towards the window and finding that it was now dark outside, I felt my heart drop and my thoughts began to race. As I looked out the window, I caught the glimpse of a reflection. The reflection of the workers behind their glass display that prevented people from sticking their hands in the grub. They stared at me, expressionless. I had almost completely zoned out, and in that time, neglected to notice that the restaurant was now silent. No clanking dishes, no sizzling grills, no calls for orders to be picked up. Utter silence. I turned around, peeling my face off of the window, to find that it wasn't just the workers. Everyone was staring at me. Children, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, all with their eyes bearing into my soul. I felt as though I was in a nightmare. No one moved. Everyone just stared. Their eyes were glazed over and soulless as their bodies swayed back and forth, on the verge of a mental breakdown. I shut my eyes as tight as I could, shaking my head and counting down from 10, just as my psychiatrist told me. When I opened them, everything was back to normal. The speakers were back on, and laughter mixed in with cheerful conversation filled the restaurant once more. However, one employee who I hadn't noticed before continued staring at me. That same expressionless face from before. Only this time, when our eyes met, a slow smile crept across his face, and he shot me a wink before disappearing into the back